Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, October the 26th, 2022. I'm here to give you a quick breaking news update. So you guys know that Kanye West, right, has been in the news the past like 3 days, trending on top, right? All these companies, retail companies, are dropping his brand, and they don't want to work with him. I mean, the latest one I heard was TJ Maxx, The Gap. But what's happening tonight? What happened a couple hours ago, I believe. He apparently is seeing everything that's happening. Okay, and I do not want to get into the details of the stuff he said that is causing him to lose all these deals and all of that stuff. I made a video about him, I believe it was a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, when he's speaking about obesity and all that stuff, right? And it's so crazy to see everything that's happening to him now, right? I know he did an interview that, of course, went viral, and he said a lot of things, right? And then he's getting a lot of backlash from it, and all these companies are dropping his brand and all of everything, right? So what happened, the most recent thing was that apparently he's seen that all these big brands, Adidas, TJ Maxx, and The Gap, like I said earlier, they're dropping his brand. So he apparently showed up to the Skechers. We all know that brand Skechers, the shoe brand Skechers, very well known, right? Very well established brand. He showed up to their headquarters, right, in LA, I believe. Yes, in LA, and he actually was escorted out of the building because they said to him, you came here unannounced. Okay, so let me just tell you something, right? Because a lot of people are going to say Kanye West is crazy and all of that stuff. What he did, showing up to the headquarters of Skechers, it's almost like I've seen this before, right? I don't know if you guys remember when the whole thing that happened to him during a cancer, maybe right before the pandemic, right? He was taken away into an ambulance, and um, he was taken away. And after he recovered from all of that, right? He canceled his tour, and it was kind of like around this time, like during the fall. I remember it was like October, because then it was like right before the election, and then we never heard about Kanye West into like the spring of the following year, right? And what happened is that I feel like I've seen this before, right? Because then what happened after he was taken to the hospital back then, a couple of years ago, he appeared, and the first appearance that he did was him showing up at the Trump Tower, right? And of course, maybe for that meeting he was announced, but I will never forget seeing ex-president Donald Trump just shaking his head, his Kanye West hand in the lobby, and saying he's a good man or something like that, right? I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, this is so strange. That whole meeting was a little strange to me, because it's almost like when he had the out the outburst in his concert, he spoke about Hillary Clinton, and and he kept saying it's a new world. I don't know if you guys remember that he kept saying it's a new world, Hillary Clinton, it's a new world, Donald Trump, whatever. And because he was right, I believe he was right before the election, right? And then after he recovered, he was away for a while. He recovered, and then he shows up in New York City at the Trump Tower, and then Trump kind of brought him down the elevator, I guess, came down, to say goodbye to him. And in the lobby, they had all the press, and he's shaking his hand saying, he's a good man, he's a good man. And then we see him now with everything that's happening, right? He shows up to the Skechers headquarters, and then he's being escorted out by executive. Of course, maybe not by the actual executive, but by security, right? So let me just read to you guys a little bit about this. Athletic shoe company Skechers said in a statement Wednesday night, just like I said, happened a couple hours ago, that two of its executive escorted musician Kanye West from one of his Los Angeles buildings. The company said that Kanye, who was legally changed his name to Ye, arrived unannounced and without invitation. It is said he was engaged in unauthorized filming, and he was escorted out after a brief conversation. Let me just tell you something, right? Something like there's something else that's gonna come out from all of this about Kanye West, right? Um, he always he Kanye West, I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna get in the details of what he said that get him in all this trouble, okay? But looking at himself, right? Looking at who he is from a public perspective, right? I always had some type of doubt with him. I understand that he did the whole, kind of like Sunday service, and then he's talking about God and this and the other. But then you see him, in the beginning of his career, talking about how he sold his soul and, for fame and fortune, and then his mom died, right? And it's just so crazy because he's saying one thing with his mouth, and then of course, you want to look for the fruit, right? And to me, it's not matching, okay? And then he's there's something about him and feeling so kind of like, um like his pride to me, um is very visible, and he feels like, I remember when he will refer to his ex-wife, right? He will say, well, my wife, she's like the number one influencer, and I understand, maybe that he is saying something true, right? All I'm saying is, like, when that's your life, that's how you think of yourself, that that's, like, who can say no to Kanye West, right? He has this ability, his belief in his mind, that he can show up anywhere and be, giving a deal, right? Whatever. And I think, talking about him, I'm not saying I wish him anything, nothing like that. Like I said, something more is gonna come out of this whole deal with Kanye West. I do believe, though, that that verse in the Bible, I'm not saying I do believe. I'm saying that verse in the Bible comes to my head when he says, pride comes before destruction. We have to be so careful with the things we say, right? Like I said in a lot of my videos, by any means, I'm not perfect at all, right? I'm always like, okay, better not say that, better watch what I'm saying. But it's a constant deal, right? We all know that we always have to keep that in our head. Watch carefully what we say, and, not every solution will work for somebody, but, a lot of the times we generalize things, right? We say, it worked for that person, so it should be done this way. Everybody, everything is different. Some medication work well on people, others make them worse, right? So everything is different. So sometimes, you have to kind of like come down to the earth, right? And get yourself grounded, and understand that a lot of the times everything that you have can be taken away like that, right? And what you have at the end is who you are, like, genuinely are. All these people that perhaps are cheering you on and saying, yeah, we need somebody to, like, go out there and tell them in their face and things like that. A lot of the times, you put yourself in that situation just because of somebody saying. Then once you find out information, you're like, oh wait, maybe I should have not said that. But, just because you feel like your opinion is so valuable, that you think you're ahead of everybody, and you're like, I know this is said, and I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Then yes, there are gonna be consequences for everything that you say, right? Especially when you think like that. So this is a little strange, because even watching the video today briefly, right? The way the media is communicating about him is a little strange to me. It's like he's getting so much press. It's almost like they're saying to the world, like I said, I'm not picking sides, nothing like that. It's almost like they're saying to the world, like, this is what can happen to anybody who comes out and say whatever, right? Anything about whatever. Like I said, I don't want to get into the details of exactly everything that he said. I know he spoke a lot about many things, right? So this is just an example. I think what happening with him is an example for all of us, that, pride comes before destruction. The other thing is, you can never think to yourself. He said to, he's like, I have music, I have songs, I can just go and live somewhere, right? The fact that he went to the Skechers headquarters or one of their building in LA tells you that this man is kind of like realizing what's actually happening. And when those doors are shutting down like that, you either like, I don't know, like I'm not trying to give him advice or anything like that, and I don't wish him like ill or nothing like that. All I'm saying is like it's almost like I feel like I should be praying for him, right? And God knows why I feel like that. So, and I probably will pray for him, okay? I think it's a bad spot to be in. And when people speak so quickly and they give their opinion so fast, you know those people that even you know people like even co-workers, you see them, they're the first one to say everything that's in their mind and things like that, and they think that they can just say it because they can be loud and they can be in your face. And it's like, okay, like once you come down from that feeling, like you're gonna have a consequence and you might not be happy with that. So next time you have to just rethink what you have to say, right? So let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. I'm like I said, I feel like every time you turn in the news, they're talking about him, and I know it's not a good spot to be in. And the fact that he went to Skechers, like I cannot imagine like for why he's like trying to reach out to executive from Skechers. Like he's gonna say to Adidas, "Oh, look at you, you dropped me, but Skechers just gave me a deal." Like there's no, like it's the wrong time to be doing something like that, because no company, there's not going to be a company that's going to say, hey, can you come here, we're gonna like give you a deal, because they're going to be facing with backlash and pressure too. Like this is everywhere. So I don't know, it's a little strange. Thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel. Have a good night. God bless. For coming back to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and share this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. I'm here to invite you to my podcast, JulissaDesigns, and it can be found on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can join me every day as I make episodes of the latest news, real life stories, and I also share my favorite Bible verse. Hope to see you then. God bless.